Hey, welcome back. Hope all is going well. We're drawing close to the month of October, so this is day number 19, and the prompt was dizzy. So this one I actually had done quite a bit of pre kind of thought exercises about before I even started sketching out the character. I did do quite a few different kind of variations to the initial sketch, but it was something that I had kind of came to a conclusion on what I wanted it to look like before I'd even started sketching it, due to the fact that I had kind of gotten ahead of myself. I had done a couple days in advance, and this one I was just like, oh, dizzy, okay. And so the one thing that kind of came to my mind was obviously, a homeless drunk dude. And so, but I wanted to play kind of more into, um, so like the first couple sketches that you saw that I did for his face, he was kind of more of a joyful, kind of giddy kind of guy. And so I wanted to make it a little more um, dark and potentially depressing kind of a feeling. And so, because a lot of times, what I've noticed and what I've heard from a lot of people who analyze and critique comic books is that a lot of times superheroes, what makes them interesting is not only the ability to humanize with them, but also the fact that a lot of times superpowers aren't always beneficial or uh, the glory days or the glory that people think they are. It's and I think it's funny because like the movie Incredibles does a good job of like kind of illustrating that how people probably would turn against superheroes even though that they're doing good. And so, but anyway, I digress. But I kind of wanted to do this hero as more of a kind of a, I wouldn't call him an anti-hero, but kind of someone that very similar to the old movie, I guess old being relative term, Hancock. He's just kind of one of those guys that helps out here and there, but really just does not care about anybody. And so, or at least he kind of gives the illusion that he doesn't care. So, so yeah. But obviously, we'll get into like his backstory and powers and abilities and stuff like that. But that was kind of my mindset, is I really wanted to play with a hero that didn't really want his powers and abilities and kind of almost resents them. But due to the fact that he has them now, he deals with it. So, but yeah, like his powers actually hurt him and cause pain and all that kind of stuff. And so, they're not the type of superpower that I guess most people would consider having or even want. They always want the, once again, it's kind of coming back to the philosophy of like the Stanley and Jack Kirby's run on the X-Men and how like mutants were mistreated. And so a lot of times the messaging there is like people don't want to have mutant powers, but they can't do anything about it because that's the way they are. And just the whole ideology that people aren't happy with who they are and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, due to the fact that I had more time to think about this one, it kind of turned into one kind of, I thought way more into it than I really needed to for the sake of just having a fun superhero character. So, but yeah, it was enjoyable. And some of like the cool things too is that I wanted to give him a weapon because like some of his powers and abilities he isn't entirely proficient at, and so has a hard time. And so I wanted to give him like a weapon. And so like he's got like a sword and behind his back and like a bunch of like melted aluminum beer cans, allow around him. And like the only thing that he can really drink from is glass because glass has a higher melting point and stuff like that. And so, but yeah, like his sword is made out of melted, beer cans and melted metal that he's found. So, but anyway, so well, let's get into his backstory and powers and abilities. So this hero's name is Molotov, very similar to like a Molotov cocktail. So um, a flaming bottle of booze. So, but anyway, the hero's name is Molotov, and let's get into his backstory. So, as a mere homeless man in Baltimore, Wayne was one of the many humans left to fend for himself as the alien invasion took place across all major cities. So, this is the same alien invasion that is tied into the other heroes that I've uh, briefly discussed with. So, like Renegade and Muki and some of those. So, Wayne was a bit of an alcoholic and dove much deeper into his addiction when the chaos erupted. While finishing off one of his many bottles, one of the alien invaders was killed in front of Wayne and covered him in all kinds of alien guts. This cocktail of chemicals saturated Wayne's blood and altered it so that when Wayne lit up his next cigarette, his entire body ignited into flames. In absolute pain, Wayne sought a way to extinguish the flames. But how do you put out your burning blood? After months of extreme pain, he started to notice a change in his body. He noticed that his skin was now adapting to the heat and had grown into a durable, fire repellent biomaterial. His nerves had been so damaged by just months of extreme uh, uh, burning and just the continual pain that he had felt that he doesn't even really feel pain anymore. So, in essence, he was becoming a walking, spontaneous, combusting human being. So let's get into his powers and abilities. So as a result of the odd chemical mixture becoming part of Wayne's blood and the fact that his blood alcohol content was already nearly 85%, that simple ember from his cigarette set it all ablaze. But once Wayne's body adapted, he began to develop some pretty amazing powers and abilities. Due to the extreme heat of his uh, uh, due sorry, let me start over. Due to the extreme heat at which his body cooks, he can quite literally burn through anything, including metal, making him very problematic for enemy forces. He can also vomit up vast amounts of extremely heated plasma from his mouth, which acts like a super napalm. He has also one other ability that has kind of taken him a while to get the hang of, and that's why he has like that sword and stuff, is that he can also superheat the molecules rapidly in an object to their breaking point, causing them to explode very violently. So, like he could heat up something and then throw it and it would explode. So, but yeah, so that is the superhero for the day. His name is Molotov. And this was day number 19, I believe. Yep, day number 19, and the prompt was Dizzy. So thanks for joining, and we'll see you in the next video.